welcome. My name is Heather. I'm with Duncan House Creative, and I'm so glad you're here for our alcohol ink flower tutorial. Today we're going to be making these alcohol ink flowers. I have a couple of examples for you because I have made quite a bit of these in my time as an art instructor. So this is one of my very favorite, most popular projects to do with my classes, and I cannot wait to share them with you at home. Okay, we are going to go over our supplies first. You are going to want to have a piece of YUPO paper. Here is the brand of YUPO paper that came in our art boxes. It is Legion brand. This is the heavy quality one, but you received the medium stock one. No difference, one's just thicker than the other. YUPO paper is a synthetic paper, so it's not made of regular paper material where the ink absorbs. Instead, the ink floats around, and as it dries because it evaporates. So you get a really cool fluid motion on the YUPO paper that you would not get on regular paper. So you're going to need one sheet of YUPO paper. I say at least three alcohol ink markers. If you have more alcohol ink markers than that's great, but at least three you're going to want. Then a straw, a Sharpie marker, and some isopropyl alcohol. And this has to be about a 99 proof alcohol. I think I have read you can do 97 and up with this, but this is a 99 proof alcohol. And just remember that rubbing alcohol is flammable, so you want to make sure to do this in a well-ventilated area, away from any sort of flame or fire or anything like that, okay? So there's not much in here, but just know that when you're doing art, sometimes you're working with materials that you need good ventilation for, okay? All right. Let's jump into the tutorial. Okay, so first I'm going to cover my table or my work area. Make sure you have some sort of plastic covering to protect your work area. You want to make sure to do that because this alcohol ink will stain things, okay? It is a permanent medium, so you want to make sure to do that. So I like to work with a piece of paper towel under my paper, but that's up to you because sometimes the alcohol will spill off the paper and that kind of absorbs it. So what we're going to do is we're going to get out our supplies here. Here we go. And I'm going to show you how to do 3 flowers. Now, I've taught this probably to hundreds of people, and everybody interprets this differently, okay? It might even be a great lesson for you to watch in its entirety, and then you jump in and do what you want to do, okay? So just think about that as I move on. I'm going to do 3 flowers on mine, but you could do 1 large flower, or maybe you want to do 4 small flowers. It's really up to you. Maybe you want to do flowers of different colors. I'm going to do the same color for each of my flowers, okay? So I just want to preface this tutorial with those things. I want your flowers to look differently than mine. I want you to really think about what are you envisioning for this project, okay? I'm going to show you the technique, but then you take it and do with it what you want. Now, the way I get started is I get my lightest color in my group of markers. I'm going to use the fat end of the marker, and I'm going to place 3 dots for kind of where the center of my flower is going to be, okay? Then I'm going to take my darkest marker, the darkest color. I like to use the fat ends here. And I'm going to draw 4 petals around each of these flowers. I highly suggest you do not do any more than 4 petals. You're not going to want to do like 10 petals around the flower because they're going to just melt basically because of the alcohol, and this will just provide more color in one area if you just do 4. Now I'm going to do these kind of types of petals with a point, but honestly, here, If you do this type of petal that's just rounded, it doesn't matter. Like I said, all of these flowers are going to kind of spread out, and you're not even going to be able to see your original flower. Okay. Okay, so I've got 3 flowers down, and then I'm going to take this blue and I'm going to just add a little bit of color here in the middle. I think I've used these colors before. I'm going to do that to kind of clean my marker off. There we go. Okay. Ta-da! We have our flowers placed. Now it's time for us to drop the alcohol onto each of our petals. First of all, before we get started, I want to make sure you know you are going to come to a place in this project where you are going to hate it. Almost 100% of the students that I teach do. Okay, you're going to look at it and go, what? This doesn't look like a flower. That's totally normal. I want you to trust the process, okay? Trust the process. And remember, these are abstract flowers. This is not going to be a photograph of the flowers in your garden. These are abstract flowers. So once you just put that word abstract into whatever art you're doing, it just gives our, I almost want to say our spirit, it gives us this permission to go with it, right? And we're not so confined to what we think it should look like. So remember, these are abstract flowers. These are not perfect. And you are going to experience a little bit of dissonance as far as like feeling like this isn't what I want it to look like. That's perfectly normal. I'm going to take my alcohol and I'm going to place 1, 2, might just stop there at 2 drops. That's it. Don't douse this with alcohol. Then I'm going to blow the alcohol out from the center, okay? Just really gently. I'm not going to blow super hard, and it's going to make just a really light petal, and that's what you're going for. Now this is the trick. I'm going to do 1 flower at a time, but I have to turn my paper. I'm going to turn my paper and then do the next 1, 2. I'm going to blow. Okay, turn my paper. 1, 2. And then blow. And you might think, oh, I need to blow, I need more petal over on this side. That's completely fine. You can blow in whichever direction you want those petals to go. Okay, so I'm going to drop the ink on here and blow this one. And then I'm just going to let that dry for a second, and I'm going to move on to my next flower. As you can tell, this is not looking like a flower, okay? This is the moment that I told you about where you're thinking, oh my gosh, what am I doing? This is not what I want it to look like. It's not. Don't worry about it, okay? Just trust the process. So I'm going to drop 1, 2 pieces there. I'm going to blow that around. Again, I'm going to move my paper as I do this. 1, 2 there. Blow that around. I just love how the ink dries. It almost looks 3-dimensional. It's really cool. There's that. And then I'm going to do my 4th petal here. 1. And I didn't have a lot of room for that petal there, so I just did like one small drop, okay? There we go. Okay, I'm done with 2 flowers. I'm gonna move on to my third and final flower. 1, 2. Move that. And you get different effects from blowing the direction that you're blowing. So if I'm going to blow this way, it's going to move one way. If I'm going to blow straight on top, it's going to move a different way, okay? So just know that too. Okay, again, here, let me put my paper in the middle there. You look at these flowers and you think, this doesn't quite look like flowers yet, Heather. That's okay. I'm going to show you how to open them up. So we're going to take our alcohol, and my flower is pretty much dry now. And I'm just going to take the tip of my alcohol and just barely touch it. See, I got a little bit over there. Barely touch it in the center of that flower, and your flower is just going to open and bloom. And I don't blow on it, just let it do its work, okay? Let it open up, see where the alcohol leads it, and we're just going to let it flow. And I'm just blowing on it gently to dry it. I did not move any of that ink around. So we just opened up our flowers and made them look much more like a regular flower. Now we have to let this dry a bit. I'm going to use this piece of paper to dry it without moving the ink around. Okay, I want it to be dry, and luckily this alcohol, because it evaporates so quickly. I'm going to put my lid back on because I'm done with this alcohol now. And I'm going to take my Sharpie marker and I'm just going to add some little dots to the middle of my flower. This represents kind of what we call the seed head of a flower, which is just where those little seeds live. Okay, and I like to use black here, but if you have brown, if you have some other colors you want to use, you totally can, okay? And if you want to do, I've had people do little like arrows, I've had people do lines, you know, you don't have to do what I'm doing here, so don't, this is just a guide. I love seeing how other people interpret this. It's really cool. I've seen some beautiful, beautiful work. It's amazing what we can do when we're just taught, you know, the technique, and then we have the liberty, the creative liberty to really make it into what we want it to look like. Okay guys, we are finished with our wonderful alcohol ink flowers, excuse me.
So wait, I don't think that you had dotted it. Is that the very last one?
I'm just gonna use that.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna come to this one. Yeah. Okay guys, we are finished with our alcohol ink flowers. I hope that you are happy with what your flowers look like. Every single time I do this, I am just amazed at the beauty that's in each of the flowers. And remember, they're abstract flowers, okay? Just like I said before, they don't have to look perfect, but I promise they will be pretty impressive when you show others. Please show me your flowers. Take a picture, tag me, put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, wherever you know me at online. I would love love to see your flowers. This is the worst part of teaching online is I don't get to be there with you. And that's why I love teaching art in person, because I get to be there at the table with my participants and I get to see their creative process. But you know what? I'm trusting this process too on this end, and I'm excited to share with your final product and see how awesome it is on your end, okay? So, okay, every time we do them, they look a little different. I'll show you my other ones. Here's some kind of darker pink ones. Some blue ones. Here I did 1, 2, 3, 4 on this one. And these are a little bit larger sheets of paper, some blue ones. So every time you do these, they're going to be just slightly different, okay? Just trust the process and share it with your friends, and enjoy being creative at your home. All right, we'll see you next time on our next tutorial.